Welcome to session 16 of Teaching Aptitude. Today we will talk about memory loss and its types. This is going to be a quick session before we actually move on to the next chapter. This particular area or topic, this particular topic is actually very important. There are a few questions that have been recently asked on this particular topic, and hence I have covered this. So, what are the types of memory loss? First is forgetting, of course. What is forgetting? Okay, so it's when you cannot retrieve information that you have stored. Okay, and now there are types. So, the first one is decay theory, where memory fades over time because there is no rehearsal. Okay, then second is interference theory, where there is competition between memories during retrieval. So there are two types of interference theory. First is the proactive interference and the second is retroactive interference, where old memories interfere with the new ones. We call it as proactive interference. But when new memories interfere with the old ones, that is retroactive interference. Now, when there is retrieval failure, that is the third type. The retrieval failure is when you don't have enough hints or clues to access the information that is stored. That is retrieval failure. Then we have amnesia. It is a type of illness where you simply lose your memory because of some injury, drug abuse, and you also have problems making new memories. So there are two types of amnesia. One is anterograde amnesia and the other is retrograde amnesia. Now the anterograde amnesia, you can remember that retro is something that that we say there's a theme of retro, that is before, like the past movies, we call them retro movies or something. So inability to recall events and memories before the incident, so that is of the past memories are actually vanishing or they have vanished, and they cannot process new information. So this is due to the damage to the hippocampus. Okay, and also it can be treated by exposing to lost memories. This is usually temporary, and so this is more about not able to recall the past memories, and there is also difficulty in remembering or recalling recent events or learning new skills. Okay, but when we talk about the anterograde, it is totally opposite, where we are unable to create new memories or put in new information after that incident. So after a particular incident, when you cannot store anything in your memory, you tend to forget everything, then that is anterograde. But when you can remember, you have difficulty remembering the present one, but you also forget the past memories, is when it's retrograde. So not able to create memories, you cannot recall past but you can recall past memories, it is anterograde. Okay, and now this is caused due to the damage on medial temporal lobe and medial diencephalon. Okay, now this can be treated through repetition, practice, and proper hints. When you tend to forget, your mom has told you to buy a few things from the market, but you generally forget one or two things. So the idea is to organize how many shops you have to go. For example, you have to go to, one is the vegetable vendor, the other is some snacks from the stores. So you have to go to two stores. Now you have to write down how many, either you write it down and take a chit with you, or you remember, or you just make a list in your brain that okay, I have to get 5 things and you need to remember it in a sequence from the vegetable vendor, whereas I have to get 3 things from the other vendor, and that also you list it down in your brain, then it becomes a little easier for you to actually remember things. So that is how you can do certain drills when you have anterograde memory, and this also can be temporary or it also can be permanent. This affects the autobiographical memories, such as person, person's events or historical events like their own wedding, but they may be able to form new memories. Okay, so yeah, okay, I think yeah, yeah, okay. Then we move forward to motivated forgetting. Motivated forgetting is also called as repression by Sigmund Freud, and he was the first one to consider the idea of motivated forgetting. Now, what is motivated forgetting? It is the inability to retrieve information because it has some benefit from not remembering. Okay, so it is purposely forgetting something because if you remember it, you are going to be in trouble. So you purposely seem to forget it, and there's a positive effect probably. So repression is unconsciously blocking a memory or an event from entering the conscious awareness. It is an unintentional process through which the person may avoid feelings of anxiety and traumatic events. Now, why is it positive? I said because when you have a trauma or when you simply have lost a loved one or something like this, the anxiety that you get on remembering those events, for example, if someone has met a very terrible accident, the person will simply use the idea of repression, whereas where it is not remembering or motivated forgetting, because if the person tries to remember that traumatic event, the person may have feelings which are more dangerous. So this is how we tend to repress our thoughts. Though this is an unintentional process, it is just that unconsciously blocking a memory or an event from entering the conscious awareness. So here we end our session. It was a short session. Lovely seeing you, and I hope to see you for the next session.